I, male 28, and my fiancée, female 26, are writing this together. We're engaged, but we've lived together in my house for about 2 years now, longer than we've been engaged. I have a brother, 27, Ryan, and Ryan has a fiancée and girlfriend and mother of his kids, Erica. He met Erica in high school. They had their first child when they were 17. They've had 2 more children since then. For a while they were separated, then together, and then separated again. Honestly, I couldn't keep up with them. Erica is also the problem. I know I sound biased because Ryan is my brother, but everyone in the family agrees. She's not likable. She's argumentative, rude, and entitled. She constantly starts arguments with Ryan or her children on holidays and thinks she deserves everything Ryan has ever done or accomplished because they have 3 kids. Erica also took an insulting attitude towards my fiancé for whatever reason. My fiancé wants me to emphasize here, Erica is a damn witch if you haven't got that. Her words, not mine. Well, honestly, my fiancé and I often babysit Ryan and Erica's kids on weekends or at night when they work or just whenever they need to. She adores her siblings. Erica is cordial enough to my fiancé when she's asking for babysitting, but other than that, they don't talk, and I think they both prefer it that way. My fiancé wants me to note here that it's not just us who have an issue with Erica, it's my sister and Erica's own brother as well. So last week, my fiancé and I went out to our favourite restaurant after work, had some drinks at a nearby bar, and went home at around 11:30. We were both a little intoxicated in our own home, with a locked door, and decided that the bedroom was just too far of a walk. We started to undress on the couch. 5 minutes later, we hear keys at the front door. Like scorned teenagers, we jump up and my fiancé sprints round the corner to the hallway, leaving her clothes everywhere on the floor. Luckily, I still had my jeans on, so when Erica came in with her baby, I wasn't too exposed. I can hear my fiancé around the corner, half laughing, half sobbing of embarrassment, and I'm just looking at Erica like, since when the heck do you let yourself into my house? Erica looks at me, looks at the clothes on the floor, looks around for my fiancé, then walks out and slams the door shut. After that, we got a slew of angry text messages. Erica told us that we were indecent people with no class or integrity, that my fiancée should respect herself more by not being so open about her private life, and that she would not be returning to our house with her children, as it's obviously not a safe place. I asked Erica how she even got a key to our house and what she was doing coming in unannounced in the first place, and she answered that she took the key from Ryan, they were fighting, and she needed my fiancé to watch the baby while she figured everything out. She said we would never watch her kids again. While my fiancé was angry at basically being called a derogatory name, she's very hurt that Erica claims she'll keep the kids from her. My fiancé loves the kids a lot and she likes having them. When I saw how upset this made her, even though I think it was an empty threat, I texted my brother. The texts I received from Ryan seemed like Erica wrote them, but honestly I can't be sure. They're both holding a grudge about what wouldn't be an issue if Erica stopped being entitled. Ryan said that if we apologise to Erica for what happened, then likely she will forgive us. My fiancé was ready to swallow her pride and just apologise, but I refused. I don't think we did anything wrong. So my question is, who's the idiot? Wow, what kind of family shows up to someone's house in the middle of the night, lets themselves in, and then dares to imply one of the homeowners is a derogatory name? Not the idiot. Change the locks and don't give your brother a key this time. When they're in a bind again about needing childcare, they will call or try and let themselves in again. I say this with all due respect to you and your fiancé. Boundaries. Yup, this. You would think Ryan and Erica know how babies are made by now and that having intimacy with your fiancé in the privacy of your own home does not deserve judgment or spectators. I would certainly not apologise. Change the locks. Answer them with a sorry you feel that way, and I would ask for an apology from Erica, showing she understands walking into someone's home unannounced, practically in the middle of the night, is rude and dangerous. What if you'd mistaken intruder Erica for a criminal intruder? Ah, the misogyny. This was only directed at the fiancé and not OP when both were doing the same thing. Don't get me wrong, it'd be BS to try to shame OP as well, but it's just extra messed up that Erica's focused that criticism on OP's fiancé. Dude, you couldn't have babysat anyway, you'd been drinking. Are you supposed to ask permission to do that too? Man, Erica is crazy. Rough time in our household. We just had to draw a line with our daughter that if she wants to keep living here, she needs to get a divorce. Usually this would be gross overstepping and doesn't even align with my values, but it has to happen. My daughter and her husband got married just out of college. Not long after my daughter got married, her epilepsy came back and her husband's father fell into dire straits due to the cost of his divorce and his mother's care. My daughter lost the ability to work, and her husband was suddenly responsible for helping his father and younger siblings have a place to live. This and her medical costs quickly drained their small savings, so they couldn't keep up their apartment, so she moved back in with us temporarily. That was 2 years ago. Despite having a nursing degree, she can't work in that field because it isn't safe. She can work part-time now, but the jobs she can safely do don't pay enough. He has a full-time job, but between student loans and paying the entire rent at his father's townhouse, he can't help out, which means all her expenses are on us, including the cost of her insurance and all her medical costs that insurance doesn't cover. We can't do this anymore. We need to get our younger two through college, and we need to start saving much more for retirement, if we ever hope to get there. My husband is incredibly lucky to have a pension, but I don't. We're in no way the parents who kick our kids out at 18, but we can't sustain this. We've looked into benefits that have been available for a while now. She wouldn't qualify for full disability medically, but Medicare would be amazing, especially as she turns 26 next year. Even EBT would do a lot. The problem is, as a married woman, my daughter's income is too high for Medicare or EBT. If she was single, she'd be eligible for both. Of course, it's devastating. Of course, I don't blame them for what's happening. I completely understand that he wasn't willing to watch his father and young siblings be out on the street, and realistically he couldn't have kept them afloat if he'd refused to help anyway. But something has to give. She's fighting us on this. She's been angry for days about our going against our values and destroying her happiness. It's all true, but unfortunately this has to happen. This would save us all thousands of dollars a year, money we all need. She's trying to get sympathy from our family who are trying to make us reconsider, but we've done the math and gotten as much advice as we can. This is the only option. But am I the idiot for forcing it with an ultimatum? Not the idiot. Give her as much sympathy as possible, as this situation is truly horrific. Hopefully they can remarry later. Let her know that marriage ending doesn't have to end the relationship, and reassure her that you care about her husband and that this is purely a financial necessity for both of them. Consider offering to speak with the husband directly so she doesn't have to be the one to bring up a divorce with him. She's got a lot on her plate, and adding a conversation with her husband where she's the go-between him and you, it's a rough position, but you must consider your two younger children and their future, and you need to save for retirement. Info: if your daughter's husband is paying for his father's townhouse, why is she not living there? Also, how is his dad helping? The situation is terrible, but also weird to me. Your son-in-law has been helping out his family, and his family has been receiving help from yours for 2 years, but nothing has improved. I'm not questioning his intentions, but 2 years is long enough to realize they're not doing something right if nothing is improving. Agree, I get he wants to help his dad and siblings out, that's very noble of him, but his priority should be his wife, and she doesn't even come close to being a priority to him. Father-in-law got a divorce and it financially wrecked him. That sucks when it happens, but he's had 2 years to fix things, and instead of doing that, he's relied on his son to do it, and that isn't fair to your sister-in-law and daughter. The husband needs to wake up, like yesterday. My wife, 38, and I, 38 male, are your average busy parents with stressful jobs and stressful kids. Dina has 2 best friends, Shayna and Samantha, who live in different states. Last month, Shayna asked my wife if she wanted to run a half marathon in Vegas. When Dina mentioned going to Vegas, I said, half-jokingly, that I'd never been to Vegas, and she couldn't go twice before I'd gone once. She asked if I meant it. I said yes. So she was like, I guess we can work it out. Samantha and Dina's sister ended up going too. I later backed out, not wanting to be the third wheel on a girl's trip. A few days after I backed out, my wife found out Samantha's husband, Jim, was going and asked if I still wanted to go. I excitedly agreed. A week later, my wife asked me, hey, you're okay with sharing a room with my sister, right? I said, no, I'm not okay with sharing a room. Why would we share a room? She explained that we would share a room with her sister to help save her and us some money. Apparently, Shayna was going to share a room with Samantha and Jim. I said, everyone going on this trip makes 6 figures other than your sister. Why would we share a room to save money? Why doesn't Shayna share a room with your sister? Why would we give up our privacy to save money? My wife wasn't having it and we fought over it but didn't resolve anything. The more I thought about it, the more it upset me. We don't go on enough dates. We've never been away from our kids for more than one night. Why would she feel okay with sleeping separately during a 4-day trip away from the kids? A week later, I asked her thoughts on our Vegas trip. She explained that we wouldn't spend time together in our room anyway. They never spent time in their rooms on her last girls' trip. They only used their rooms to crash. This was a girls' trip and Jim coming along meant I would have someone for me, but it didn't change that it was a girls' trip. I argued that having our own room and privacy didn't change the trip at all. Not sharing a room wouldn't change the dynamics of the trip. Again, she wasn't having any of it. During the argument, my wife admitted that she had agreed to share a room before she even asked me. She said someone had suggested it in their text thread, and she replied, "I don't care." We didn't talk for a couple of days after that fight. When we warmed back up to each other, she told me that she told the group we wouldn't be sharing a room any longer. She thinks I'm the idiot because I forced my will on her. I think she's the idiot because she agreed to share a room without consulting me, tried to sell me on why that was okay, and ignored the importance of intimacy in our relationship. Am I the idiot? Everyone's the idiot here. Your wife does not want you on this trip. This is a girls' trip. You were invited because you made her feel bad about going to a place you've never been to without you. You wouldn't want to share with your sister-in-law, but your wife is also making it clear that this isn't a romantic trip for the two of you. Just let her have her girls' trip and plan something else for the two of you, which you will enjoy more. I'm going to go with, you are the idiot. God, you sound exhausting. You invited yourself on a girls' trip because you were jealous she got to go to Vegas, then backed out, then changed your mind again. Where did you expect your wife to sleep when you weren't going? Why do you expect to be able to control this trip that isn't about you? You make enough money, you said so yourself, to take a proper trip with your wife. Don't ruin the trip you invited yourself along to. Exactly. Bro, skip this trip. It's all about the girls. Since your wife needs to get away, let her go. Have your bags packed and take off on a Vegas weekend with the boys as soon as she gets home. She'll be fine watching the kids alone, and guys deserve a break too. My wife and I have been married for 6 years. We have a daughter together. Our marriage became bad after our daughter was born. A big point of contention was our daughter's surname. I wanted mine, she wanted hers. We compromised on hers after a lot of bickering on her surname. I conceded to the argument that she was carrying the baby, so she deserved the honour, and I was okay with it. It made sense. But it always sat in some unreachable corner of my mind. Now I know why. For 3 years she gave all her love to our daughter. It was like I wasn't even on her radar. I was kept at a distance. When I communicated, I was accused of being jealous of my daughter. Some part of me knew that I was, and I felt ashamed. Soon it became the new normal. I was lonely and I learned to be okay with it. My boss invited me to his house for dinner. He's a great man and very supportive. His wife was very affectionate towards him, while mine was distant and naggy. I saw their relationship, and I compared it to mine, and I realized that my wife wasn't into me. Maybe she never was. Now she has someone she loves, my daughter, so she doesn't need me for companionship. I'm just an annoyance. It was not a sad realization, it was freeing. I want what my boss has, a woman who loves me. That's not my wife. That surname bit came to my mind. My boss's wife is proud to take his last name and give her children his last name. Mine doesn't feel that pride. I told my wife that I want a divorce. I gave her my reason, I talked about my feelings. She was angry and annoyed. She told me that we have a family together and I should grow up. The ups and downs are part of marriage. She said she would try to be better from then on. She wanted to give me crap about what I said about surnames, calling it chauvinistic. I decided not to argue back. I started the process of divorce and she was served 2 days ago. She was shocked. I'd never seen her like that. It was like she couldn't even believe that I was actually divorcing her. In her defense, it all happened in 3 weeks span. She's now trying to make me stop the divorce. She said she would take my name and give our daughter my name if that's what I want. She still doesn't get it. Surnames were just symptoms of the more significant problems. She just doesn't love me enough. I want someone who does. She wants therapy, but I don't see how that will help us in any way. She said our problems can be fixed and not to gamble my life and our daughter's life like that. There are no guarantees. She's not wrong. I am playing a huge gamble with my life. But I want a woman who can love me like my boss's wife loves him. I want a better wife than my current wife. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. It concerns me a bit that you never once mentioned your own feelings towards your wife. So you feel she doesn't love you, but do you love her? You feel she's not affectionate towards you, but are you affectionate with her? I thought this would be highly relevant. I think divorce is a valid choice for you since you clearly don't have a perfect family in everyone's eyes. If they only knew. They would be screaming nasty things at each other on the way to dinner together, and when we got there, like a light switch, they would hold each other's arms, smile and make jokes like nothing had happened. I thought it was normal and everyone's family was like that when I was a kid. You never know. The more I learn about the couples I know, the more I realize you can't tell what's going on from a glance.